Everyone, I'm Anas Al-Obaidi, and in this video, we will be discussing the second topic, or will be considered the second session in Chapter 9, uh, as part of the whole curriculum of the Advanced Medical Science Liaison and Medical Monitor Certification course, AMSLC for short, by CCRPS. And it is from Chapter 9. As clinical chapter 9 is about the clinical trial phases and procedures. And the topic for this video for now will be about the challenges in translational research and safety compliance. Introduction. So translational research is simply defined as a terminology as simply defined as the process of applying scientific discoveries to improve human health. To improve the human health well-being. So translational research serves as an essential link between the laboratory discoveries and the real-world medical applications. It transforms groundbreaking scientific insights from the bench into actionable treatments and procedures at the bedside. This discipline operates across multiple stages, from developing new drugs and therapies to implementing them in healthcare setting and ultimately ensuring their benefit at a population level. As translational research drives healthcare innovation, promoting better health outcomes through multidiscipline collaboration. So there's a goal, there's a purpose for translational research, and there's a goal, outcome that we are looking for. So it drives healthcare innovation, promoting better health outcomes through the multidiscipline collaboration. Now, however, the transition from conceptual breakthroughs to practical treatments is far from straightforward. So it's not straightforward. It's not straightforward, the transition. Known challenges, including scientific, cultural, and regulatory barriers, can hinder progress. Challenges, like any other challenges in applying anything scientifically or in applying anything in research. So here, known challenges, including scientific, cultural, and regulatory barriers, can hinder progress, often referred to as the valley of death, the chasm between preclinical research and clinical application is a notorious obstacle, contributing to a high failure rate of promising projects. Similarly, cultural misalignment between researchers and clinicians, along with regional regulatory variations. We know about this part, and we expressed about it, and we referred to it and covered multiple times in previous sessions. This part of along with regional regulatory variations, as we have, especially in the global high skill trials, we might have variations or differences in applying the trials, the research, due to regional and or local regulations. Adds further layers of complexity. Now, safety compliance is equally vital in this process. Safety compliance is equally vital, so it is vital in this process. So it is vital as well. It ensures that all innovative treatments adhere to strict standards to protect patient safety, maintain data integrity, and comply with international guidelines such as ICH, the International Council for Harmonization's Good Clinical Practice, ICH GCP, and FDA regulations. Without these safeguards, the efficacy and safety of treatments cannot be guaranteed, jeopardizing stakeholder trust and clinical outcomes. By addressing these challenges and investing in efficient safety frameworks, translational research not only accelerates innovation, but also, as well, ensures that discoveries are delivered to patients in a safer and more effective manner. And this is what we are looking for. Discoveries are delivered to patients in a safer and more effective manner. Key points for our topic. Key challenges in translational research, the valley of death that we spoke shortly about in the introduction. One of the toughest hurdles in translational research is the valley of death. What's the valley of death? The gap between a preclinical discovery and clinical application. So this gap between the preclinical discovery and the clinical application is called valley of death. Promising research often stalls at this stage due to insufficient funding, incomplete data sets, and or the inability to validate findings. So a lot of or quite a good amount of promising research might stalls at this stage, might stuck at this stage of valley of death or this gap due to many reasons, um, all or some or one of the following reasons: insufficient funding, incomplete data sets, or the inability to validate findings. Impact. Only 1% of preclinical drug candidates, so only 1% of a preclinical drug candidates are successfully translated into viable therapies. Perceived financial risks lead investors to prioritize later stage research over early stage projects. Solution for that, we have, despite of the order, we'll start with predictive models as one of the solutions. Develop computational tools to better evaluate safety and efficacy during preclinical testing. An example for that, of course, will come to machine learning models predict a molecule's bioavailability, reducing dependence on lengthy animal trials. Another solution, public-private partnerships, collaborations, like the Accelerating Medicines Partnership, AMP, provide funding and shared resources to bridge the gap. Example for that, AMPs, the Accelerating Medicines Partnerships, Alzheimer's project aligns academic, government, and pharmaceutical efforts to expedite drug development. We have the cultural and communication barriers. So differences as another challenge. So differences between basic scientists are focused on mechanisms and molecules, and clinicians focused on patient outcomes often lead to misalignment in translational projects. The impact would be wasted resources due to miscommunication around research priorities, a duplication of efforts without yielding practical applications. Solution, despite of the order, we have the interdisciplinary collaboration, foster joint academic industry initiatives where both groups share goals and training. Example for that, for the interdisciplinary collaboration, we have a translational program focuses on shared milestones, uniting laboratory scientists and trial physicians under one framework. Another solution could be educational programs, initiatives that train researchers to appreciate clinical constraints and clinicians to understand molecular science. Example for that could apply to the as a solution for educational programs, workshops bringing together biologists and physicians for mutual exposure to lab assays and patient safety protocols. C, lack on infrastructure. Another challenge. Advanced research facilities, equipped laboratories, specimen repositories, and specialized trial sites are critical for translational success. Many regions lack sufficient infrastructure support, meaning many regions might not have the um, satisfactory, efficient equipment, are not equipped enough in order to meet the expectations of such a kind of research style. Impact, delayed studies and limited access to high quality resources. Solution for that, despite of the order, translational networks establish regional infrastructure hubs such as EATRIS, EATRIS for as stands for European Advanced Translational Research Infrastructure in Medicine. Example, as of same EATRIS, EATRIS centralizes high-cost resources like biobanks for shared access. Another solution, international collaborations, leverage global partnerships to provide infrastructure support for low-income regions. So international collaboration is another solution, leveraging global partnerships to provide infrastructure support for low-income regions. Regulatory hurdle is another challenge, navigating diverse regulatory requirements across different nations slows the translational process. The impact for that as will lead to extended trial timelines due to multiple layers of approval, such as separate IRB, Institutional Review Board reviews for multi-site studies. Solution, um, single IRB system, single Institutional Review Board system, streamline ethics review processes by implementing single review boards for multi-site trials. Example for that, NIH, the National Institution of Health, mandates single IRB, single institutional review boards for federally funded U.S. Clinical trials. Harmonized global standards. Another solution, develop unified guidelines such as the most common example and important example, ICH-GCP, International Council for Harmonization's good clinical practice to reduce regional redundancies. And here is a nice diagram how to overcome the valley of death, the gap that we spoke about in translational research. We have the predictive models and we have the public-private partnerships. And predictive models develop computational tools to evaluate safety and efficacy, reducing reliance on animal trials. And public-private partnerships collaborate with organizations like AMP to share resources uh, and funding for drug development. Safety compliance issues. So safety compliance is important. It is vital as well, equally vital. So in research, so there are some issues, might be kind of challenges. So despite of the order, we'll start with data integrity risks. Clinical outcomes depend on accurate and secure data. So in order to have um, um, the most appropriate, most accurate, proper outcomes for any clinical trials, that this will depend on the accuracy and security of data, accurate and secure data. So breaches, manipulation, omissions compromise evidence reliability. Impact, untrustworthy data can lead to regulatory rejections. Participant harm means the patient safety will be compromised and public mistrust. Uh, the public population will mistrust will not trust anymore the research or the trial. Solution for that, despite of the order for the data integrity risks, audit trails, the blockchain system, employ digital tools that log all changes made to records. Example, EDC, like the EDC, electronic data capture, or ECRF, electronic case report form systems, track every amendment during a phase 2 clinical trial. Another solution, source data verification, SDV, verifies trial data against original source materials to detect discrepancies. Another safety compliance issue is adverse event management. Efficient adverse event recording and reporting ensure early detection of potential risks. Impact, delayed reporting compromises participant safety. and the participant safety is very much um, important, is important uh, within any clinical trial. Solution for the adverse event management for such issues that um, might be created or might be rising from adverse issues within the adverse event recording. One of As a solution, use real-time monitoring systems to detect, record, and escalate adverse events as they occur. An example for that, predictive analytics flag participants with fluctuating vitals, enabling timely intervention. C, balancing innovation with compliance as one of the issues as well, accelerating innovation risks, cutting safety corners when safety protocols are incomplete or rushed. And solution for that, implement risk-based monitoring RBM for sure to prioritize high-risk metrics instead of bulk data reviews. Example, as of RBM, risk-based monitoring focuses on deviations like unreported serious adverse events, uh, amplifying safety without overwhelming efforts. So RBM focuses on deviations like example of one of the deviations, unreported serious adverse events, amplifying safety without overwhelming effort. Here's a nice diagram enhancing clinical trial safety and data integrity. As here, uh, compromised the clinical trial safety and data integrity, we have the T2, data integrity risks, omissions, breaches, and manipulations, and here adverse event management as insufficient recording systems and delayed reporting. Number three, we have the methodologies to address challenges. Despite of the order, we'll start with adaptive trial designs, modified trial parameters based on interim results. Interim results is the ongoing results, or the results that are coming from ongoing trials, yet not finished, yet not done trials, but still ongoing, still being conducted trials. It's called interim results. Example, oncology trials that reallocate participants to effective drug arms boost efficiency and reduce ethical concerns. Another methodology, standardized operational procedures, SOPs for short. Some might call it site operation procedures, but it is standardized operating procedures, or as other experts might call it, site operating procedures. Um, Comprehensive SOPs, comprehensive standardized operating procedures, ensure all trial procedures meet regulatory and safety criteria. Example, as of SOPs guide proper informed consent practices, ensuring patient comprehension. And this is just an example because SOP might clarify or guide many aspects, if not all the aspects, while conducting a clinical trial. First, team collaboration platforms use real-time platforms to track, share, and analyze data collaboratively. And here, as for example, cloud-based systems such as RedCap enable, RedCap is an example for cloud-based systems, enable unified trial data access. Advanced analytics deploy algorithms for preemptive identification of compliance gaps. Example, AI, the artificial intelligence, reviews safety profiles, detecting sites with recurring event reporting delays. And here, a nice diagram, simplify and summarize the clinical trial components, the adaptive trial designs, modified trial parameters based on interim results, standardized operating procedures, SOPs, ensure all trial procedures meet regulatory and safety criteria. Cross-team collaboration, use platforms to track, share, and analyze data collaboratively. Advanced analytics deploy algorithms for identifying compliance gaps. Now we'll come to the section of recent advancements. Despite of the order, we still have them all as recent advancements. Blockchain for data transparency, which is the audit trail system. Immutable records safeguard trial integrity by ensuring no tampering occurs. For example, blockchain registers patient consent forms for decentralized trials. Wearable technology enables real-time tracking of participant vitals, enhancing safety monitoring in order to end up enhancing the patient safety. Example, continuous glucose monitoring flag abnormal readings during diabetes control trials. Uh, since diabetes control trial being conducted, so wearable technology devices to continuously monitor the glucose levels will be very much related and involved in a diabetes control trial. Harmonized compliance frameworks, the only one example, global initiatives like the ICH-GCP, the International Council for Harmonization's good clinical practice, ease cross-border trials by standardizing safety protocols. Virtual trials use telemedicine and decentralized communication to expand reach into underrepresented regions. Example, remote platforms administer surveys and monitor wearable diagnostics during global contraceptive studies. As this is an example for virtual using telemedicine and decentralized communication in virtual trials kind of. Electronic Document Management Systems, EDMS for short, automate trial documentation, simplifying submissions, and record management. Example, regulatory agencies receive automated safety update alerts directly from EDMS or Electronic Document Management System or systems platforms. Here is a summarizing diagram of innovations in clinical trials. We have the EDMS, the Electronic Document Management System, the blockchain, the audit trail system, wearable technology, harmonized compliance frameworks like ICH-GCP, the International Council for Harmonization's good clinical practice, and virtual trials. Applications in practice, we have the scenario, the challenge, and the solution. A scenario, we have the drug development. Challenge was, or is still maybe, data integrity concerns. A solution was implementation of rigorous audit systems. Rare disease research, as challenge limited funding or participants. Here, the solution, public-private partnerships to pool resources on regard patient in order to enhance patient recruitment. Multi-site trials, regulatory delays as a challenge. Solution is single IRB, institutional review board systems for ethical harmonization. Chronic kidney trials, chronic disease trials, and the challenge was low enrollment rates. The solution, remote monitoring virtual trials to boost inclusivity. inclusivity. Translational research, fortified by safety compliance practices, holds immense promise for transforming healthcare by overcoming the outlined challenges and leveraging technological advancements. Innovative treatments can reach patients efficiently and ethically and safely. Summary tables. Here, table one, we have the key stages and objectives of translational research as stage, and for each stage, we have the description, objective, application, example, outcome achieved. As stage T1 is transfers, a description is transfers basic science to clinical research. T2 moves clinical insights into real world practices. And T3 focuses on more population wide health improvement. Conceptual research identifies scientific foundations. Outcome research evaluates the impact of interventions on populations. Table two, key features of safety compliance, the aspect, the recruitment, example, purpose, and tools utilized. Aspect, Requirement, the requirement for each aspect, example, purpose, and tools utilized. Aspect will data integrity, adverse event reporting, privacy regulations, system authentication with transportation standards. Table 3, challenges and solutions in translational research as the challenge, the impact, solution, implementation example, and improvement achieved for each challenge. Value of death, the gap we explained in the early um, pages or slides for this presentation, the valley of death, the gap, cultural barriers and infrastructure gaps, regulatory complexities, and financial constraints. Table 4, advanced compliance solution, key feature, application example, benefit, and outcome. Here, the solution, we have adaptive trial designs, blockchain technology, the audit trail, cross-team platforms, wearable technologies, and AI, artificial intelligence-powered risk analytics. Table 5, recent advancements in translational research and compliance, as we have the advancement, the application example, the benefit, limitations addressed, and tools required. As here, advancement, we have the virtual trials, harmonized guidelines, electronic document management, wearable diagnostics, and blockchain integration, the audit trail. Application table, the scenario, the key principle that was applied, the key actions, timeline, and what to watch out for. So developing a new Alzheimer's treatment, the key principle that was applied, translational research, T1, scaling a novel vaccine to global populations, T3, community health improvement, the key principle applied, managing regulatory approvals for multi-site studies, the key principle that was applied, regulatory compliance, addressing participant safety in decentralized trials, the key principle that was applied, adverse event management. Scenario, key principle applied, continuing with the scenarios, ensuring rare disease drug candidates progress through trials, overcoming the valley of death as a key principle applied, scenario securely tracking data in multinational clinical trials. Key principle applied was data integrity, increasing enrollment in chronic disease studies through virtual models. Key principle applied was virtual trials, testing a gene therapy for rare neurological disorders. Key principle applied adaptive trial design. Scenario also continuing, identifying delayed adverse event reporting across multiple sites, the key principle applied, data transparency, standardizing informed consent for culturally diverse populations, ethical recruitment was the key principle applied. And next we have the MCQs, multiple choice questions. As question one, what is a defining feature of translational research? Is it A, focusing solely on laboratory studies, B, bridging basic science and clinical applications, mostly B, C, designing commercial marketing strategies for drugs, or D, avoiding regulatory compliance for innovation? So it is bridging basic science and clinical applications, so it is B. Translational research aims to convert laboratory discoveries, basic science, into practical health interventions, ensuring the new treatments benefit patients efficiently and safely. Question two, which stage of translational research emphasizes applying clinical findings to healthcare systems? Is it T1, A, B, T2, C, T3, or D, preclinical? It's T3. Why it's T3 as of C? As T3 focuses on integrating strategies from clinical trials into practice, promoting health improvements and policy adaptation at a community and systems level. Question three, which strategy helps overcome the valley of death in translational research? Is it A, avoiding collaborations between academia and private sectors? I mean, definitely not A, not we suppose not to avoid any kind of collaborations. Is it B, developing predictive models for safety and efficacy, mostly? Is it C, conducting trials without validating funding sources? No, definitely. because funding resources will be needed. D, operating without regulatory frameworks, definitely not, as regulatory frameworks are needed. The regulatory framework is needed within any conduction of any clinical trial. So it is B, developing predictive models for safety and efficacy. Predictive models can identify potential failures early in the process, helping bridge the gap between laboratory discoveries and clinical application. The valley of death, which is a common barrier in translational studies. Question 4. How does blockchain support safety compliance in clinical trials? Is it A, by eliminating the need for data audits? No. By creating immutable transparent records, mostly. C, by allowing unrestricted modification of trial data? No. D, by replacing patient-reported outcomes with predictions. So it is B, by creating immutable transparent records. As blockchain, the audit trail enhances data transparency and reliability in clinical trials by securely storing records in a way that prevents tampering and ensures integrity. Question 5. Which advancement addresses the slow participant enrollment in chronic disease trials? Is it A, wearable technology, B, virtual trials, C, single IRB, institutional review models, or D, by standardized operating procedures, SOPs? So it is B, by virtual trials. Addresses one of the advancements that would address the slow participant enrollment in chronic disease kind of trial. As virtual trials use remote monitoring and digital platforms, eliminating geographic barriers and increasing accessibility for participants, thereby expediting enrollment in studies targeting chronic diseases. And here we come to the end of this video. We come to the end of this session. Thank you very much and goodbye.